up? What up? What up? Let me make sure this microphone is on right. There we go. Turn that up a little bit. What's happening, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode, another edition, another chapter of the CM show. My bad, y'all. Hey, I am dragging ass. It's been a pretty interesting day, pretty emotional day. Had a lot of stuff going on, but it's been a pretty emotional weekend, y'all. But before we get into that, who am I? I am Christopher Markland. I am an author. I am a YouTuber. I am a podcaster. I am a lover of love. Y'all, it's been a great weekend. My son, my godson, graduated. Y'all, it's been graduation season. It has been a just, man, when I tell you, when it is surreal right now. Just leading up to it, it has literally been surreal. Just seeing these two young men, knowing them obviously from just birth, and to see these young men grow up and now they're getting ready to go into the next chapter of their lives. It is nothing but phenomenal. It is just absolutely amazing to me. So if you have a graduate out there, whether it's, actual friend, family, whatever the case may be, man, shout out to y'all because it's been a hell of a journey. So just want to say that. Shout out to all of my graduates out there. Make sure my audio is working. Y'all know I'll be having audio problems. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me do this real quick. Let me switch back here. All right, I am back. Sorry about that. All right, some stuff behind the scenes. Had to go handle my business. Anyway, but shout out to all my graduates out there. Also, it was Memorial Weekend. I served in the Army. Luckily, I made it, but shout out, I won't say shout out, but, respect and all to those that didn't make it, to all my veterans out there as well, who just thank you for your service. And let's not forget the people that did fall in service to this country. Whether you feel how you feel about it, it's a lot of stuff going on. But even with that being said and done, I do want to say thank you for all my veterans that are here and those that did serve. Also, 19 kids. What was it? 3 adults. I can't even fathom that. Like I said, my son graduated high school. My godson graduated high school. I cannot even just begin to imagine the pain that those parents are going through. So as much as I hate the rhetoric, the thoughts and prayers, at this point, until we can really make some changes, that's the very least that we can do. From what I understand, some of the funerals are going to be starting this week. Man, I cannot even imagine what it would be like to put my son, my daughter in, man. So, like I said, it's been a hell of a week. It's been a hell of a week. So tonight we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna, I know I sound a little bit down. My energy's a little bit low. I probably need something a little bit stronger in that cup. But until we can, we're gonna go to war with what we got. Candle of the evening, coconut mango. Gonna get something a little bit spicy tonight. As always, shout out to my sponsor. And I did trim the wick. So before I get fussed at, she fusses at me every week, let me shout out my sponsor, the Black Candle Box, theblackcandlebox.com. Make sure you support her. She's working on a whole new line, a bunch of scents. So make sure you visit that website, theblackcandlebox.com. Use the promo, the CM code when you order. When I tell you that these things, they smell fantastic. I'm not a big candle dude or whatever, but it's like when I did smell one of these, I was like, oh, this ain't bad. So make sure you support her, theblackcandlebox.com. Tonight's topic, we are going to be, if I can get my stuff together. Tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about backtracking. Okay, we're going to be talking about backtracking. But again, before we dig too deep into the topic, let me first say this. This is an adult show, so we're going to be having some adult conversations. So we're going to be saying some adult things, and there will be some adult statements that are made. So if this isn't necessarily, your cup of tea, and it's like, oh, my stars, my God, there's all that good stuff, and hey, this may not be the conversation for you. Also, I do not give relationship advice. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not a relationship guru. I'm not a certified matchmaker or matchmaker of any kind. I'm just a dude that loves love. That being said, I have got a lot of experience when it comes to marriage and relationships. I've been married 3 times, divorced 2. So everything that I do say, it comes from the prism of someone that knows what it's like to be in a failed marriage or to have a failed marriage. I've got quite a few under my belt. I'm not bragging. I'm not happy about that. But that's just the honest lay of the land. These conversations that we have are therapy to me. I love getting the feedback from y'all in the chat room, from y'all in the, that send me texts. This is therapy to me. I've made mistakes, as we all have. So when we have these conversations of different topics, like tonight we're going to be talking about backtracking. Next week we're going to be talking about some other stuff. But this is therapy to me. I don't claim to know it all. I don't claim to be this perfect man that does all these things in relationships. I fuck up. Lord knows I fuck up. I make mistakes, have made mistakes, and goddamn it, continue to make them, and will be making them in the future. So I don't claim to be a relationship expert giving you, expert advice. Well, you need to do this. Why don't you try that? But what I do give you is my honest opinion of, hey, instead of this, try that. So before we get into that as well, do me a favor, y'all. I am trying to get to a certain point. And I am trying to get to, my goal is 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not already done so, please hit the subscribe button. If you're watching me on Facebook, hit the like button, hit the follow button, all of that. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already subscribed, I need for you to do 2 things for me. Take a quick second and do 2 things. Number 1, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And then also take a second, go back over there, hit the like button. If you don't like the shit I'm saying, hit the dislike button. Just hit one of the buttons for me. Tickle the algorithm. Let YouTube know that, hey, this dude, he's all right, but, or this dude, he sucks. Whatever the case may be, just hit that button for your boy, please, and thank you. So, let's get into it tonight. Oh, let me say what's up to my folks. Let me do this real quick and bounce over here, and then we're gonna go here. Let's see who all's in the chat. What it do, Cheryl? What's happening? Yeah, thank you for joining the conversation. Oh, looking kind of slim in the chat section there tonight. I guess I really didn't advertise it. Your boy's been traveling. Anyway, so what sparked this conversation? I mean, this is something I've always felt for a minute anyway, right? Is y'all know that that I'm a big fan. In fact, one of the things that really got me into this, my bad, hurt my shoulder, is Ready to Love, the TV show Ready to Love. I follow that show and do my reviews of Ready to Love, and that's kind of what, got me into this love thing. Excuse me. Ready to Love. I do reviews of the show. Now, in this last season, there's a couple named Demetrius and Sabrina. They went through it. It didn't work out for them. And at the end of the show, in the reunion special, they had a conversation. And in that special, Demetrius was asked a question about, hey, so what do you, now that things didn't work out between y'all, what do you want to do now? And this was his response.
I have some like questions about like some stuff with Sabrina.
Does there need to be another conversation, or are there some things that's not completely finished or
I don't think it need to be like a conversation, but it's just like, I'm expecting other people to move like how I move.
And that right there to me, when I heard that, oh snap! I sat and thought about it because I'm like, yeah, hit that like button. I don't know why that popped up again. Hit the subscribe button. Anyway, it got me to thinking. About I wanted to talk about that on an episode of the show where we spoke about backtracking, because I'm thinking to myself, bro, it was over. Y'all are done. You said what you had to say. It didn't work out. Move on. I'm the kind of person that I start out at 100%. Some people start out empty, some people start out full. And as the relationship progresses, either you pour into them and they build up, or you give all you have until you run out. I start full. And when I don't have anything left to give, I don't have anything left to give. And at that point, there's no reason to backtrack. I'm done. I'm empty. My tanks, I don't have anything. I've always analogized, relationship to, you have to be able to fill your partner's tank. And if you're not able to do so for whatever reason, whatever impediments there may be, if you're not able to fill your partner's tank, you just aren't able to fill your partner's tank. So that to me is why I think that some people, the people who do start empty, they are the ones that are more prone to be able to backtrack. Because if you start empty, that means that you've got room in there to pull in. So if someone snatches a cup away, the cup is still half full. That means if I put the cup back, that means we can keep on pouring. You're more able to bring the cup back. But if you are just empty, there's nothing left, you don't want to bring it back. Because if you started with all of that and now there's nothing left, that's a problem. Now, to me, if somebody asked me, okay, Chris, well, with that being said and done, how do you feel about,
Sometimes you and your ex are meant to be together.
Take your ex back or drown.
Hey yo, look like I'm going for a swim.
I've got nothing left. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. That's me. Why does this damn thing keep popping up? It's me. I've got nothing left, So it's like, man, that is, when I saw that, I'm like, yo, that's me. Because it's like, would I go back and try it again, or would I rather drown? The reason for that, and it's because there's nothing left for me to go back to. So it's like I'm going back into a weird situation. And that brings me to something else too, when it comes to, as far as, let me do this, when it comes to, oh, that's weird. That's not working right. As far as when it comes to the relationships as well, this is me right here. Because as far as I'm concerned, what up, Lorenzo? I see you, dude. Thanks for joining the conversation. Man, what was this room? Man, when I saw that, one of the reasons why I don't believe in backtracking is, for me, I don't backtrack. Let me not say I don't believe in it. That's one, but I don't backtrack it. The reason I do is because when I'm done, and I believe in closing all doors behind me so that way I can move forward. So what that means to me is numbers blocked, Facebook, all of that other nonsense. I don't want to keep the doors closed, because I'm like, think about it. Again, I'm 100%. I feel like I've given everything up front. So if we get to the end, then there's nothing left to go back to. Why are we keeping doors open? Why are we playing with it? Why are we doing certain things? That's just how I've always felt. Now, there are certain people who do believe in keeping, in like I said, who believe in backtracking works. In fact, a friend of mine that I was talking to, I'm surprised she isn't. All right, let me do this right quick. Hold on 1 second. All right, sorry about that, y'all. So one of the things that I do believe in doing is is closing those doors behind you. Because if you know that, okay, you've done everything you can, you've moved on, there's no reason for you to for that person to have access to you. So I'm a firm believer in, doing everything you can, but just removing access. That's how I've always moved. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, y'all, just had to do a little bit of housekeeping. Hold on one second. All right.
Signs you and your ex are meant to be together. First, time has surpassed in the breakup. Both dated others. Somehow you always find yourselves back to each other. It's not enough lust, but longing to be in each other's presence. 2, relationship ended. It was not mean or full of animosity. Parted ways that maybe had more to do with timing than one another. 3, you both own where the relationship ended. Work to resolve the problem instead of pointing blame. 4, you've seen each other since the breakup. Things just keep getting better. Honesty, sincerity, and compassion. And 5, can't stop thinking about it. Not in a way of being sad of what you left, but longing to be together. Longing to have that person in your vision for your future.
Backtracking works for some. Backtracking, I know a few people who they got together after they were in a relationship, things didn't work out, they moved on, pursued other relationships, and ended up circling back to each other, and now they're married, happily in love, and it works. For me, it doesn't. That's just my personal stance on the matter, and I see y'all are chiming in the chat that, it to me, it just doesn't work. When you leave certain doors open, you're going to have some problems. But here are a couple of reasons why I think that people break up anyway, and I think that why I don't think backtracking is necessarily a good thing. But for some, maybe the time just wasn't right. Okay, maybe the timing just wasn't right, and because of that, they weren't able to, you weren't able to really work the relationship the way you could. So maybe the time then wasn't right. It may have been a distance thing. You live in New York, they live down in Florida, and it's, long distance relationships. Those are tough. Those are tough. And then after a while, it's like, you know what, this just ain't working. Let's go and end this. But then next thing you know, you move to New York, they move to Florida, or y'all both move here to Atlanta or something like that. And it's like, yo, you know what? Let's try it again. Maturity. If y'all were dating, y'all in your 20s, it's a whole lot different when you're in your 30s, your 40s, because you realize, you know what? I did some dumb shit back then. I've grown up now. I'm a man now. You know what I'm saying? And you realize, you know what? Hey, now that I've lived a little bit of life, and I see, I see the mistakes that I've made, the therapy that I've went to, and things like that. I'm a different person. I'm a more mature person. And it could just be infidelity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody stepped out. They stepped out. You stepped out, and because of that, the bond of trust was broken. If you've had the time to deal with those issues, then you very well may be able to work it out. So I got a couple questions though, as far as what it may take for some questions that you could ask to say, okay, is it good for us to backtrack? One of those is the relationship fixable? That goes back to where you are, where they are, and where you both are. Why you ended the relationship in the first place. Now if it was something like, they cheated on you with your mama or your daddy or something like that, I don't think that's fixable. That's a tough one right there. But that's one of the questions. Is it fixable? You ask yourself that question, is it fixable? Another one is, have you or have they changed for the better? Man, long distance relationships are tough. I want to hear that, Cheryl. I'm about to bring that comment up in a second. Hold on, we're going to talk about that. Have they changed for the better? Have you changed for the better? If you can answer yes to that question, then hey, maybe you could backtrack. All right. Are you both willing to work to get back together? A relationship takes both parties to really want the relationship to work. And there does come a point in time where it may be one, it may be the other, but if you both don't want it to work, then no. But if you both say, you know what, yeah, like I said, one of the the things are at time, distance, whatever the case may be. Hey, let's do this. Then hey, it might very well work. And number 4, can trust be rebuilt in the relationship? That, like I said, with infidelity, if you don't trust your partner, then it's hard for you to work with your partner. Okay? If you don't trust your partner, it is hard for you to work with your partner. And not just trust on the infidelity side of things too. Let me dig into that a little bit. If you don't trust that your partner is going to be there, if you don't trust that your partner is going to carry their share of the weight of the burdens of running the business that is a relationship, if you don't trust that your partner is going to show up, if you don't trust that your partner is going to do the things that you need, then you have to be able to rebuild that trust. And that goes back to, is your partner the same person that they were back then? So in other words, if your partner couldn't keep a job and they just stayed on the couch, just, homosexual or whatever the case may be, then now all of a sudden it's like, hey, I've done this. Look, now they're showing you that, hey, I'm not the same person that I was. Or if your partner was just, a person that never said they were going to do what they were going to do, but now they are going to show you that, hey, I'm a person of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Those are the things that the layers of trust on different levels. It's not necessarily just about infidelity, who you stepped out and did something with somebody else. No, it's a matter of, can you trust the person to show up in the way you need them to show up? And can they trust you to show up in the way that they need you to show up? Trust is key. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in some of the comments that I see down there in the chat. And then I'm also going to open up. What the hell was that? Open up the Zoom room. Oh. Well, that's what's up. Y'all, I have been working on this Facebook thing on the side. I agree, but you know what? Let's see this. So, I'm going to open up the chat room, but I'm going to start addressing some of the comments that I see in the chat. It's like stuff is pinging here. I am learning this stuff, y'all. Let's have fun. You know what? I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and she was laughing at me and teasing me because on the show a couple weeks ago, y'all experienced me realizing or having an epiphany that, yeah, Chris, your books are journaling. In fact, I haven't even spoken about the books. Y'all remind me to talk about my books later on. But before I get too excited, I just realized, y'all, that my energy's down a little bit. And I need y'all to help me bring it up. So, even though this is a serious topic, it ain't got to be serious, all right? So, let me go through and holler at my folks. Let's see who's in the chat. Lorenzo, what it do, man? Thanks for joining the conversation. Let me make sure that this is working properly. And student logo here. Bam. Whoa, snap. That's not good. Go back here. Bam. Oh, I see the problem. All right. So, first things first. Y'all have been saying some stuff in the chat, and I want to dig in and talk to y'all. So let me do this. I just dropped the link as well. Let me get my audio set up because I want to hear what y'all got to say. I want y'all to join the conversation. We're going to be talking about backtracking. If you have ever had a relationship where y'all broke up and then you ended up getting back together, I want to hear about it. We're going to talk about it tonight. Oh, there we go. All right, do this. Why is this not working? All right. So let's go through some of the things that y'all have been saying. Let's see. Cheryl says it might be easier to work our way to 100% when starting a relationship and not giving everything up front. I hear what you're saying, but the key to that is it's not a we, it's how you are built. For whatever reason, if you are just the kind of person, if I can get this damn thing to work right, if you are the kind of person that does not, you're not able to, to give it. Either you can or you can't. It's not even about we, it's about you, the person, because based on how you grew up, based on your past relationships, sometimes that's your protective mechanism, is to be like, you know what, let me guard myself. Let me hold my feelings. I don't want to be too vulnerable. And that's the key, vulnerability. We're going to have a show on that, but that's the key, vulnerability. You know, so therefore you're not. But if you are just an open person, a loving person, you put all your cards on the table, then that's just how you are. So it's not even a matter of, okay, if we work together, it's a matter of who you are. Let's see. Els, she says, what about backtracking when the relationship didn't even start to begin with? Break that down for me a little bit, because that to me sounds like red flags. It sounds to me like, you know, if you saw somebody who, you know, you start out the relationship and you start seeing some signs that, yeah, this ain't what I want. That ain't necessarily backtracking. That's some red flags. Now, those red flags could be based on pet peeves that you have, based on shit that you went through in prior relationships. But it doesn't necessarily, to me, sound like you're backtracking. It sounds like you're like, yeah, let me pump the brakes because this ain't what I want. Let me see. Oh, also, y'all, I am streaming on Facebook. So let me see if here we go. So on Facebook, Veronica, she says, I agree. If you haven't given it your all, what is left to go back to? Or if you have given it your all, what is left to go back to? Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that that's not necessarily the healthiest approach that I have, which is when I'm done, I'm done. That's not necessarily the healthiest thing. Like I said, I know that there's a lot of shit that I have to deal with. That's why I'm a proponent of therapy. And that's why I started this show by saying I am not perfect. I am not perfect. God knows I'm not perfect. There's a lot of bullshit that I do, a lot of shit. However, if I don't think I have anything left to give, I just ain't got nothing left to give. The tank is empty. And if I've given all I can, what am I going to go back for? For more hurt, more pain, start all over again? No. Cheryl says, sometimes we are so filled with emotions, we don't allow ourselves to communicate effectively as necessary when a relationship ends. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. Guilty. Relationships ain't nothing but emotion. It's like, shit. Ain't nothing but emotion. So, yeah. There has to be at least one convo to ensure clear and concise message. Yeah. Last conversation. Think about it. If you've been saying the same thing for the last 4 weeks, the last 8 weeks, the last 3 months, whatever the case may be, what's another conversation gonna do? It's just more the same. Else, I would agree with some of that. If timing was off initially, I don't see why it wouldn't work. The reason for that is you're not the same place. You're not the same person that you were 2 months ago, much less 2 years ago, right? They're not the same person that they were 2 months ago, much less 2 years ago. My son, he met up with one of his old classmates from childhood, and they hadn't seen each other in years. And when they did link back up, you know, even they were close friends, but now they're both teenagers, young adults, and you know, the connection, the chemistry that they once had was off. They still were cool, you know, but they were two different people at two different stages of their life. You know, one person lived here, another person lived there. So you know that whatever your ecosystem is, your social network that you're in your particular area, if you're in two different places, it's different. The same goes for if you're in a relationship. If you're at this point, or at least you're at this point then, but you're here now, and that person is at this point, but they just got up here. Even though the time may be off, it's still problematic. Cheryl said, long distance relationships can't work. Let me stop. I'm being an ass. Long distance relationships, I guess, can work. I'm just not a fan of them, man. It's like, whether you have intimacy issues or not, at least knowing that the person is there sometimes is comforting. And long distance relationships take a lot of work. A lot of work. Maybe I'm just not built for it. I don't know. I never have been a fan of long distance relationships. I tried it one time. Where the hell does she live? She lived in friggin' Florida, I think. I don't know. But man, no. I'm not a fan of long distance relationships. Some shits that takes a lot of work. It's all about being honest with yourself if you are willing to work on a relationship. You know what? My bad, y'all. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got this Zoom thing set up. Hold on. It's hard for y'all to join the conversation if I haven't started the conversation. My bad. It's a lot of moving parts, man. A lot of stuff behind the scene. All right, let's get this Zoom thing set up. And if you want to talk to me directly, if you think I'm full of shit, be like, Chris, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Hold on. Check one. All right. So the Zoom has been set up. If you want to join the conversation, let me drop the link one more again. And I want to say thank everybody for, if you're joining me either on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you for joining the conversation. Tonight, we are talking about backtracking. Ooh, wrong one. There we go. We're talking about backtracking tonight. We are talking about backtracking. So, if you've been in a relationship where it's like, you know what, it didn't work the first time, then y'all decided to, you know, you broke up, you went your different ways, and then you decided to come back together. Let me know if it worked, if it didn't work. Also, in the Zoom, I just dropped the link in there. Please make sure that you have your audio connected. Please make sure you have your audio connected. And also, if you want your camera on, make sure your camera's on. If you don't want to be seen, make sure, just let me know, and I'll make sure that, you know, we have it set to private. Keep your camera on for me, though. That way I can see you, but the rest of the world will not. I just had someone text me, and she said, the problem with LDRs, long distance relationships, is that you are in a perpetual honeymoon phase, and you can't ever truly get to know the nuances that could drive you crazy once in person. Yeah, because it's like every time you see each other, it's like, oh, you're brand spanking new. It's kind of like, you know, if you walk in the house and your dog is like, oh, snap, this person. They're like, they happy to see you. But yeah, but once you live with somebody, once you have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis, or even if you don't live together, but there's more access to them, for lack of a better word, right? It's a whole different ballgame. So yeah, I agree with that. She's like, yeah, fuck LDR. I'm over it permanently. Yeah, man. Them long distance relationships, whew, those are for the birds. I'm not a fan of them at all. Like I just said, I dropped the link. Make sure your audio is connected. Let's see. Cheryl said, I was with someone for 10 years, broke up for 2 years, and went, man, you must have been mad as hell typing this out. Woo. You went back in time, Cheryl. You just started misspelling shit. Just anger type. I was in that motherfucker for 10 years, bro. Anyway, I was with someone for 10 years, broke up for 2 years, and went back for years to break up again. Oh, shit. That's a long ass time. So it's like, think about that's, let me break out my calculator. That's damn near 14, 12, 10, carry the purple. That's a lot of years to be with somebody, man. That's a long time. Veronica on Facebook, the Facebook Live, says, usually a woman will say when she is getting to that point of done. We usually give time for some type of acknowledgement and try to wait, some of us, to see which way it was going to blow. Some people take more time to get done than others. Yeah, that's true. I definitely can see that, because us dudes, we can be oblivious. And it's like, y'all have made your mind up and it's like, yo, I'm done. Don't have nothing else to give. Shit, you're 100% right. What it do, G-Dubs? Thanks for joining the conversation tonight, ma'am. Even though you came a little bit late to the party, tonight we are talking about backtracking. If you have been in a relationship, I want to hear from y'all. Let me see. Did somebody else? Okay, I thought someone else texted me a little bit as well. She said the perpetual honeymoon phase. Ain't that the damn truth? Ain't that the truth? So it's like, yeah, man, if you know that, God damn it, if you know that it's not going to work and you break up with the person, my question is, why are you going to go back and be with them again? Why? Now, we did talk about some of the reasons that people do go back to relationships, because things change. Some of the things that we talked about was maybe the time is different. Timing is everything. If you were at a point in time where, hey, I was young then, they were young, and now we're in a different place, it may be good to go back and revisit a relationship with that person. I don't agree, because I'm like, yeah, who you were back then is not the same as who you are now. Who they were back then is not the same as who they are now. So trying to go back, no, I'm not a fan of that. Distance, if they lived up in, say, Michigan and you lived in Texas, it's like, okay, especially military relationships, right? Those are distances, whew, man. So if they're living in one place, you're living in another, and now you guys are in the same place, or at least in closer proximity to each other, then yeah, maybe that may be, something that you can revisit again. Maturity. As you get older, you hope that people mature. You hope that they don't regress and become even more immature. So maybe, let's speak for yourself. If you know that you were not as mature as you could have been, but now you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, 50s, you're older, you're wiser. Yeah. Maturity may play a key in you saying, hey, you know what? Let's try this again. And of course, infidelity. And by that doesn't necessarily mean just sexual infidelity, meaning you stepped out, they stepped out, but it's just about trust. If you don't trust them and they don't trust you, maybe now you've had enough time, you've gotten some therapy, you've thought about it, you've taken yoga, meditated, and now you're in a different place to where you are able to forgive that person, because y'all, forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key. In fact, who was it that said something about forgiveness? Yep, forgiveness. Okay. Are you making tacos? How you going to join the conversation eating tacos? Wait a minute. All right. I don't know if she just walked off, so go and connect you when are you eating tacos? Okay. No problem. Do you want your video shown? Are you good? Okay. Hey, no, that's beyond okay. You are good. Let me do this. All right. Do that. And Elsie, thank you for joining the conversation. Tonight, we are talking about backtracking. What do you have, ma'am? Thank you for joining the conversation. Tonight, we are talking about backtracking. What do you have, ma'am? I do the same thing as I always use, however. Let me make sure. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm sorry. I was just checking, and it looks like your audio is not playing. So let me do this. I'm so sorry. My bad. Let me do this. I swear it's always something. So. Now I'm hungry. I want a banana. Got you. Okay. Why is this thing not doing that? Oh, okay. This is weird. Zoom in. All right. See, they can hear me, but they cannot hear you, and I want them to hear you, man. I can hear you loud and clear. You're fine. Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
Sometimes you and your ex are meant to be together at first. Time has...
All right, let me try that again, as I just went through all of my screens. Okay, let's try that again. So, all right, I just all over the place. All right, so let's go to private, audio output, and transition. This is insane that we're doing this. Nah, it's not that, and I don't know. All right, tell you what, I'm gonna boot you real quick. Oh, okay, I think I see the problem. My bad. Hold on, y'all. Hey, y'all stop fussing up in chat. We can't hear her. All right, I know she's on some good stuff too. She really is. So hold on. All right, output, audio. There we go. I see the problem. There we go. And default. You know, I call myself testing this stuff, but I tell you what, man, I need a whole crew of like a whole bunch of people working and being like, hey, Chris, because I need all the help I can get. Oh my goodness. Come on, computer. All right. What part of the country are you anyway?
In Atlanta.
Oh, you in the A? Okay. You know what? For those of you that want to do a show, man, don't do it. This thing is tough. Don't do it. All right. Okay, so all right, we got the audio output. All right. Stop virtual camera. Transition. Then we're going to go back to the Zoom. We're going to transition back to you, audio output, capture, do all this other BS right here. Default. Say something for me.
Testing.
Hold on, I think we might have it.
Testing.
Ah, there we go. All right, let's go. Do not panic. All right, talk to me, man. There's a lot of background noise, but we can hear you. Let's go. All right, we can hear it. There we go. All right, now let's start from scratch. You are in the great state of Atlanta, and you were saying about backtracking.
Hey, George. Okay, so I think it's on a case-by-case basis, even in terms of if both parties were not in the right, maybe, mind frame in terms of what they were looking for at the time when they met. So maybe the lady was ready for a relationship, but the man was just trying to play around. However, then realizes, the woman that I'm marrying, but I'm not in the where I want to settle down right now. I still want to be a bachelor. I could see that possibly happening only if the lady decides, hey, I'm still going to go date with the purpose of finding my husband. If I'm dating and I still don't find anyone, and then by the time I guess, reconnect somehow, say we reconnect to the grocery store, gym, whatever, and now the man is ready, I think that's okay to revisit. I don't recommend anyone waiting because
Yeah.
and I say that because I'm also talking to myself. I've been in a situation where I was ready for a relationship. So I went through a divorce. I didn't date for about a year and a half. I started dating, met a guy who went through a divorce as well, and he started with the ink drop. But I took a good full 18 months to just kind of be with myself. So I knew at that point he wasn't ready, and he knew as well, and he was very clear about what he was looking for. So I already knew I need to move forward. I met another guy who presented as looking for a relationship, serious exclusivity. However, his issue, which I should have taken into account, which I did initially, when we started getting to know each other, he had gotten out of his relationship 3 months prior. Now, my first question was, are you really ready for dating right now? And he said, you got to start somewhere. And I kind of looked at him like, what does that mean? And he said,
What does that mean?
right.
But okay, you know what? I think I do know what that means. But go ahead. I think I do. It's like any muscle, you gotta exercise it.
Right, and he, from what I recall, he didn't really quite answer the question directly. It was more of him and his ex were on and off for 4 years, and they're done. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, off for 4 years. So he had been, and my question was, it's only been 3 months at this point. What are the chances of this actually being done? So we continued, and based on our interactions and conversations, I saw him as the relationship type. And he even asked questions to kind of figure out what kind of woman I was in relationships and so forth. So
Your relationship resume.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like conflict resolution style. What kind of person was I if I were to travel? Like to dress up? Or do I allow conflicts to sit for hours and hours, or do I like press it? Like things like that. So to me, those are not questions you ask someone if you're not looking for something exclusive / serious. So fast forward a couple months in, I wanted to
Wait a minute. Hold on. It could very well be just not necessarily serious, but from a dude's perspective, it's like, man, I don't want to be fighting with you all the doggone time. You know what I'm saying? I just, if
Right.
you know, it may not be for a long time, but damn it, let's make it a good time, especially when you get older. So it could be that.
You know what? And that's absolutely true, because when I was having these discussions with some of my girlfriends, I don't really have a lot of guy friends, but I do have like an acquaintance. So I asked him, and he said basically what you said about not wanting to fight. And it's possible that him and his ex, one of the reasons why they were on and off is because maybe they fought all the time. Yeah. And he make sure that wasn't the case with me. But that was just one of the examples, was how, like giving you some examples of the questions that I felt made me feel like he wasn't just looking for a good time in the meantime. Basically. So things were progressing. And the other thing that made me feel like, oh, he's not just playing around, I could be wrong because I am a woman, I don't think like a man, was there was an instance where when we did go on a date, and I mentioned that with my new work schedule, it's been hard to get back into working out consistently. I usually train 5 to 6 days a week, but with my work schedule now, it's been hard. So he remembered that and invited me to the gym. And if you invite me to the gym, I'm sold. Like, you're speaking my language, that's my playground. But the fact that he remembered and wanted to motivate me and like get me back in there was very appreciated appreciated on my end. The other piece was when I would text him like, hey, I made it to the gym. Like we would just go back and forth about like our own personal like accomplishments for the week. And one of the nights I locked my keys in the trunk of my car at the gym. The gym was closing. And yeah. And he called me. I told him I needed to call him back. I needed to call the locksmith. So I called the locksmith and I texted him about what happened. And he FaceTimed me. Stayed on FaceTime with me the entire time, even though the gym employees kept the lights open and waited for me for an hour for the locksmith to get there. And he was on FaceTime with me the entire time to make sure I was.
That's a pretty thoughtful dude. So is so is that what is that what you meant when you're like, you know, backtracking before it even started? Is that that situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So and so okay. So here's my thing.
Okay.
So
okay.
Let me. So that's basically the background of me rationalizing that this would be a okay situation to backtrack if that were to be the case. Okay. So I wanted to know what caused the breakup this time. And of course, at that moment, he said she actually reached out to him a few days ago, wanting another chance. And of course, my heart dropped, but I wasn't.
So he backtracked.
So he sort of, not quite. But he was stumped and he was confused and unsure that he made the right decision about breaking up. So I was in a weird situation because I'm a love interest, but some of the things that he had said, it seemed very clear to me that she was toxic. And I asked him, what do you think is going to be different this time if the same issues that broke y'all up the several times before is the same issue why you broke up this time? So anyway, we had a date that weekend that ended up just canceled because it sounded like he needed some things to figure out. Okay. He agreed that yes, we need to postpone and he needed to figure things out, and then he just silent on me. And that that really hurt my feelings. But then he showed up, well, texted me and apologized 2 weeks later and said that he had a conversation with his ex. They're not getting back together. And he didn't know how to reach out to me because he went ghost. But he wanted to let me know that he just should stay a bachelor because he realizes that he's not in the right mental frame to be in a relationship right now.
Quite honestly, yeah, he's right. Because if he's still, you know, ping-ponging back and forth between that, yeah, he needs to get his mind right before he does enter into any relationship. And basically the questions that he's asking you, he knows from you that, okay, you're looking for something serious, so it makes sense. It's only fair to you. That's what it sounds like to me. And
he said, I know you're dating with a purpose and I don't want to waste your time. Yeah. So before he even came back, so to speak, to apologize, I started breaking down all these scenarios in my head, like, what if back? He gets he realizes that we're a good fit because we were so comfortable with. It was like an ability that I hadn't in my previous marriage. So I think that was like the main reason why I got so hurt was felt very comfortable. Now, before he disappeared, I had to reconcile with myself that, okay, the connections I had made besides him, they're subpar and there's no reason to even continue with any of them. And even though he's in a frame of mind where it seems like, and this is before he came back, mind you, it seems like he's confused, I just need to take a break in general because I also assess my situation, like, why am I only interested or entertaining men that are emotionally unavailable?
Man, my therapist said that to me. Woo! Just the very last appointment that I had with him, he was like, Chris, if you... we were going over a few of my past relationships, and he said the exact same thing to me. He was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, you end up with women that are emotionally unavailable for any number of reasons. Not, they're either just not able to be present in the way that I need them to be present." And that sounds like, yeah, because
So,
your dude was still in a situation.
right. And like the guy before that had just gotten out of a marriage. And so I guess there was something in me that already knew there's a possibility they're not ready for relationships, but I was grading them, so to speak, or comparing them to the other guys that I was dating at the time. And they were the emotionally unavailable men were more relationship minded and treated me with respect, and the other ones didn't.
Well, that. It seems to be because they had practice because they were in relationships to begin with, so that may be part of the reason.
I think so, but it still boggled my mind. I wondered if I still had to do some healing, because why am I entertaining men that I know aren't, like, I knew with the first guy, great guy, that he was emotionally unavailable, but I enjoyed our interactions and kept it going till he was finally feeling the ramifications of ending his 14-year marriage. So
whoa. So he was married at the time that y'all were entertaining each other?
No, he wasn't.
Okay,
so
okay.
So guy number one,
That's
when I
a long
first
time,
started
14
dating
years.
again. Yeah. Right.
I
So
can't even count that high.
sorry. So guy number one, let's call him David. David was married for 14 years, and he started dating me a week after the divorce finalized. So I already knew where I was. Even 6 months after my divorce finalized, I was an emotional wreck. And I was looking at him like, okay, so your ex-wife filed for divorce, you were cheated on, and you're here dating a week after the divorce finalized? I understand divorce. Divorce is
Yep. That is most definitely possible. Because just because the paperwork cleared, that doesn't mean that he both of them hadn't checked out 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So it's very much possible.
It's possible, and I asked those questions. They didn't have any kids. They had properties that they needed to split up, so she filed for divorce during the pandemic. So it wasn't that long of a process. And when I asked him what happened, I could sense he was still in pain from her cheating on him. So,
so it's a wrap.
To me, it felt like, right. But I still continued because he was a gentleman. He treated me with respect. He did things that were basic shit that men should be doing that none of these men were doing.
Oh,
like,
wow. Hey, what you ain't? You better...
Sorry.
Man,
The
wait a
dating
minute.
scene
Wait a minute.
in Atlanta is horrible.
I'm gonna let you count to 10 before you start venting on us dudes, man. We trying out here.
I'm sorry.
Trying. Boy, that
I'm
emotion,
sorry.
man.
The Aries
Woosah.
just
Come
came
on
out. The Aries in me just came out. The anger.
You know what? If you're Aries, I'm gonna let you ride a little bit. But yeah.
I knew you understand. I knew that.
I do. I got you.
Anyway,
I feel you.
But it makes no sense that the two who are emotionally unavailable were the most relationship minded. Yeah. So,
well, one, it sounds like they had plenty of practice in relationships, and two, you saw the red flags. You know they're a problem.
Yeah.
I think you may have taken it too far with them because you knew it was going to be problematic because you yourself just came out of a divorce, so you already know what time it is. There's no reason for you to stay there.
I definitely knew with David. The other guy, the newer guy, I was side-eyeing him in the beginning because we did talk on the phone for a few weeks. We FaceTimed a couple of times before we met in person. So when we met in person, I figured, it was on and off, but it sounds like he was checked out a long time before they both amicably broke it up. So I thought there's a possibility that this guy was ready till he wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's why I made the assessment. Okay, I think I'm still somewhat needing more healing if I'm attracted to or entertaining, not just attracted, but entertaining men who are seemingly emotionally unavailable. So, with that being said, I'm taking a break from dating because you just heard me rant about the men here. I'm taking a break from dating. I did decide that before man B, what do we call him? Brian. Let's say Brian. Brian
Okay.
came back to apologize and let me know where he stood. So I am just working
How long
on
ago was this?
that he came back to apologize.
Yeah.
This was end of March. So very recent.
So it's right around your birthday.
Yeah. So, and he wished me happy birthday on my birthday.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
It is. So again,
I just from everything you're saying, man, it's your problem isn't backtracking. Your problem is shit. You're damn. You're Aries. I can see it. Yeah. You want to be loved. Yeah. You have that love to give, and you want somebody to give it in return, and it's frustrating as hell that the ones that you want to give it to, the ones that you said are emotionally available, aren't good vessels for you to pour into.
right.
Because all of that emotional unavailability is basically just holes in the cup. So as you pour in, that shit just leaks right on out, and now you got a mess on your hands.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so that's where I'm kind of using the example of I'm taking a break. I'm not waiting on him. I'm
What
taking a
does
break.
taking a break mean? I hear women
Taking a
say that all the time. What does taking a break mean? That's like taking a break from breathing. What does that mean?
No. Taking a break from actively dating, putting myself out there to date. Because, like I said, I have some work to do on myself, and there are a lot of things that I have on my list that not needed, but I wanted to work on. Like, I wanted to work on a healing blog. I have lost my mom pretty much within the same year that my divorce finalized.
Man, I am sorry to hear that.
So I'm going through a rebuilding stage. I just started this new job, and I don't have any kids. I'm 38, and I'm trying to figure out what God's purpose is for me. So one of the things I wanted to work on that my sister has been pushing for a long time, even my mom before she passed had told me I needed to start some sort of blog. I want to start that. I want to travel. I actually went to Savannah this past weekend for Memorial Day by myself, just getting more comfortable with Elsie, But also, one of the things that I don't know where, I think it was from Stefan Labossiere or something. One of the things that I think he had said was, what are you attracted to, or what is keeping you attracted to someone that isn't either good for you or isn't available to you? And I kind of broke down what I was attracted to all of the two guys that I just mentioned. And I think the main thing for me is I still have a lot of confidence issues and security issues that I need to work on. And that's why I want to take a break from dating, because I feel that it's very easy to prey on men or women who have insecurities and confidence issues.
Huh. You know what? I always say that these shows are therapy for me, because as I'm listening to you speak and I'm reading some of the comments, it's like, I see myself and I see the things that I do. I was literally talking to a friend of mine today, and I was telling her just about being alone, being alone with myself. And, we had the conversation where we were talking about loneliness. We had it a couple weeks ago. And I was not able, in my past, I wasn't able to be alone. Like you said, you traveled to Savannah by yourself. And, that is something that I found it so difficult to do, was to, not even travel. Hell, I couldn't even go to the movies or go out to eat by myself, which is why I ended up getting into different relationships, throughout my adult life, not necessarily because it was that person per se. Don't get me wrong, the feelings were there, but it was the fact that I needed to be with somebody. I needed to be in a relationship in order to feel validated within myself. So, just hearing you say that, okay, I need to be okay with me, with Elsie in your case, in order to be comfortable with who you are, to deal with those insecurities, to deal with the confidence, all of those things. It speaks to me because that's exactly where I was and where I've been at so many stages in my life. So I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah. So that's my journey right now. One of my guy acquaintances, he doesn't believe in taking breaks from dating because
I don't either. I don't either.
He feels
Because you
that that's how you learn to not just date, but to figure out what you like and don't like. But like I said, so I'll give you an example. And this is why I definitely need a break, because my cup is drained from the dating pool. 1 week, and in the same week, I got stood up. I got yelled at because I said that I was no longer interested in moving forward because we weren't compatible on any front. And the guy who I'm telling you about, who says
Brian?
No.
David?
This is another guy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is I call him friend because I don't see him that way, even though he's trying to date me, but we've already talked about why it's not going to work.
To hit.
He is an Aries too, and I feel like, well,
whoa. Don't get it twisted. That might actually be magic. If you with the right Aries and y'all on the same page, oh shit. As long as y'all can, understand where the passion's coming from, man, you might be in business.
Okay, so this is my issue with him. For someone who is 9 years older than me, he doesn't seem to know how to be in a relationship. He doesn't plan anything, and planning to me is a big deal. Like, you can't reach out to me and say, hey, I want to go watch the premiere of this movie 2 weeks out, right? And I'm telling you, okay, this is my... No, he didn't get tickets to the night of the movie at 9 p.m.
So y'all up under the screen looking up.
No, like, he called me, said he was walking to the movie theater. I'm like, wait, don't you have to reserve the tickets online or something? Like, what's happening? Like, how did you ask me 2 weeks ago and you're just now getting the ticket the day of premiere?
But did y'all get the tickets?
No, I decided I didn't want to go.
But did he get tickets though?
I don't know. I told him I didn't want to meet him anymore.
Yeah, that's on you on that one.
Why is that on me?
If he, regardless of when he got the tickets, as long as he got the tickets and y'all were able to watch the movie, now, like I said, unless y'all are damn near sitting behind the screen, that would be a problem. But he may have a connect at the movie theater, he can just walk right in. So if y'all made plans and you agreed to say, let's go to the movies, if he got the tickets like he said he did, regardless of when he got them, he could have got them when they were filming the movie. It doesn't matter. If he got the tickets and you said, okay, let's go to the movies on this day, that day came around. It doesn't matter when he got the tickets. He got the tickets.
But, okay, I hear what you're saying.
Just because you're a planner and you like to plan out, there's some things I ain't got to do. I just, hey, what's happening, bro? I need X, Y, and Z. And it's like, all right, you good, Chris. Come on through.
I don't like that personally. And the reason I don't,
I got you.
yeah, the reason why I don't is because I feel, and this was really the last straw for me, I feel that I'm always an afterthought to him.
Now, I will say this. I have been guilty of that. I've heard that more times than I care to say, that I have done that to people. Maybe that is an Aries trait that is definitely not a good one. I own that because I know I've heard that before, where you feel like an afterthought. So I can see why that would be hurtful for you, because the planning shows intention, and if you're doing something intentionally, you want to at least, even if you got it the day before, at least it shows that he thought about you the day before at a minimum. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So
you know what? I can rock with that. I feel it. Okay.
And again, I was going through a rough week with two other men that just like I felt berated me. Okay, and then to kind of give you a little bit of
confidence issue.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes, and to also kind of expound on the planning thing. I already had an experience where I overlooked the planning stage. So another guy, a couple months ago, we were going on a second date. He reached out on a Tuesday, wanted to meet up. I said, great, I'm available on Saturday. Let me know where and when. Saturday comes around, 2 p.m., nothing. So I'm sitting there like, do I even reach out to the guy and find out if we're even meeting today? Because he never confirmed that we're still meeting. And I know he had a teenage son, so I don't know what's going on. So even though I didn't want to, I reached out and asked, are we still meeting today? And he said, oh, yeah, I've got amazing things planned. Remember? I'm like, right, but you didn't tell me where and when to meet you. And it's 2:00. He said, I'll call you when I get home. He doesn't call me till it's 5:00 when I'm at the gym now. Because that's the thing. I need to know when I'm supposed to meet you so I can plan my day accordingly.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ghana, West Africa.
Okay.
Why?
I hear your accent. I was just curious.
Oh, yeah. So that kind of threw me for a loop. I call him after the gym, and he asks me, what time can you be ready to meet me? And I'm thinking, it's Atlanta on a Saturday night. You didn't make reservations anyway?
Now, I agree with you on a lot of these things because, I mean, intention, you know, when you're dating in your 30s and 40s, I mean, intention means a lot because, hell, shit, I just rather go to sleep sometimes, you know, especially like you said, after it worked out. So I agree with you that intention does mean a lot. If you're going to do something, you do it with your chest. I feel you. I definitely agree with you on that. But like you said, if it's the straw that broke the camel's back, then there's only so much of that you can take, and there's only so much of that you should take. So I definitely understand where you're coming from when it comes to that, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, we went on the date. We had to wait for a table. We went to a sushi restaurant, waited for an hour and a half. We got seated, but we got seated outside because it was still cold, and we weren't anywhere close to a heating lamp. So half my body was frozen. We had to walk like half a mile to the next location, and I was in heels. So I was just having a miserable time the entire time. So when this new guy is telling me or is calling me on the premiere night at 9 p.m. asking me what time I want to see the movie so he can look at ticket times, I'm like having flashbacks to
once bitten, twice shy. It's like, yeah, I ain't going through this again. Walking in the cold with heels on. I feel you.
I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna meet you tonight. Thank you.
You know, and thank you for calling in too. I definitely feel where you're coming from. Just from our conversation, our conversation, I definitely think it's not even a backtracking issue. It's a red flags issue for you on a lot of these things. And I think that, you know, you do have to approach with caution, you know, when it comes to dating, especially if you've been hurt before. I definitely agree with that. But I think that the dudes that you have dated in your past, yeah, you don't need to mess with them again.
So what about the Brian guy? And I'm not saying
you talking about the dude that was just seven had just gotten out of a divorce in 14 years.
No, not him. I'm talking about the one that was in an on and off and called and after he ghosted to apologize.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
What is it about him that would make you want to go back?
Like I said, it's the comfortability. Like, you know, the phrase women or men want to feel safe with their women. Yeah. I hadn't felt that with anyone till him.
If he is showing you those warning signs, those red flags, that should be a warning, in my opinion. I don't think that that's a good look.
That he was dating when he wasn't ready to be dating?
That's one. And then two, the fact that he wasn't able, it took him 2 weeks to come around and say, hey, my bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were available those 2 weeks says a lot too.
Yeah, I was only available because I decided to just be done with dating, period.
I don't care why you're available. He don't care why you're available. All he knows is that you answer the phone. I don't give. It don't matter. Shit, I don't care. You could be, shit, juggling pizzas for all I care. As long as when the phone rings, you answered and you took my call.
Okay.
Because what you're saying, and based on the notes I took, yeah, they may not be emotionally unavailable, but you damn sure were.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to the reason why, is it a scarcity issue? In other words, slim pickings out here in these streets. So when,
there is
when
that.
when a good one calls, you answer the phone. But in reality, is it a good one? Is it a healthy one? Probably not.
I think that's where I need to work on my confidence issue.
Yeah. Because here's the thing: if you working out, if the body's banging, because us dudes, we want to look at the body. If you taking care of all that good stuff, the personal hygiene's on point, the hair's on point, the dress is on point, and like you said, you wearing the heels and everything's just boom, bang, pow, and yeah, okay. If you turn your heads, then it ain't as scarce as you think. It may not be the best fish out there, but it sounds to me like you eating.
I mean, I wouldn't say, okay, I would say I'm above
and I'm
average.
looking at you. It's not like you're unpretty. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see me.
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So.
I hold my own in the gym. I just recently reached a PR of 290 for deadlifts.
So you got a strong back.
Yeah.
So okay, so the problem ain't the dudes. The problem is you. You say that they're emotionally unavailable, but you're emotionally available because you're looking for it.
See, that's what I'm saying. I know there's some issues that I need to work on.
But here's the thing: your friend is right. That don't mean you got to stop dating. Because all right, okay. Oh man, I'm not gonna lift unless I lift 290. No, okay. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that don't mean every date's got to be where y'all walking down the aisle, but that doesn't mean that you got to stop dating either. You can go out, you can hang out, you can. It's any other muscle. If you don't work it, like me, I haven't trained in I don't know how long. This weekend when I ran, man, I was about to die. You know what I'm saying? If you don't exercise but so often, you feel it. You feel every piece of that pain. It's no different with dating. That's why you see some dudes, it's like, bro, what the hell you wearing? Well, I ain't been on a dating so long, they don't know what to wear. They don't know how to carry themselves. They don't know how to do certain things. Same with you. If you don't date, if you don't practice. If you don't practice, you're going to have some issues.
You talking about practice?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. So you got to work that muscle, man. That don't mean every date's got to be serious. And that sometimes you may need other things worked out too. You date.
I'll take it under advisement.
There you go. That's all I can ask for. Thank you, man. I appreciate you joining the conversation. This is real fun.
Thank you for having me.
And I need to go check back in too. Yeah, there you go. Aries, baby.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Have a good one.
You too.
Man, first of all, shout out to my Aries folk. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, that she said a lot right there. And toxic relationships, man, we're gonna have some serious conversation later on down the line too, y'all. We're gonna talk about toxic. She talked about conflict styles, but emotionally unavailable. When I tell you that is word for word what my therapist told me a couple weeks ago. He was like, "Yo, Chris, it's your dating history is littered with women that were emotionally unavailable to you for whatever reason, and yeah." You can't find love with somebody that's not ready, for you, or if you yourself aren't ready. That's why I'm always talking about therapy too, man. That's some shit. Anyway, let me drop that link one more time. That was a good conversation. Again, if you want to join where you and I actually have a conversation, where you talk to me, I just dropped the link. Whether you're on Facebook or whether you are on YouTube, either or. G-Dub, was she talking to you? So you talking about preach? Was she saying something that you wanted to hear? Huh? Let's see. Cheryl, she's giving that encouragement. She says, you are doing good, sis. No doubt you are. I mean, first and foremost, you're blessed to be an Aries, right? Then, even though you're not from Jamaica, you're from another country. So you know what it's like between not just this Atlanta, this U.S. culture, but just another culture as well. So all of those things make you, just dating is real. It makes you stand out amongst, the crowd. So you got a lot going on for yourself. I like it. Let's see. Did somebody else just hit the waiting room? Did I just miss something? I did not. Y'all, we have been talking for a minute. What time is it? 8:30? Woo. Good. She said yes, all of the above. One of these days, G-Dub, I'm going to have you call in. Because you've been a fan for a minute, and I do appreciate you. Thank you so much. You said you can relate to her 100%. Okay. In what way? What was it about what she said that resonated with you to the point that you not only can relate, but you relate 100%? I would like to know. Either drop it in the chat or the call's right there. I'd like to talk to you. And while we are waiting on that, I'm going to talk about next week's show as well. Even though we're having fun with this one. Oh, snap. Do this. Next week, I try to have these Markland Monday shows on Tuesday, not Markland Mondays. Throwback. The CM show, like doing them on. I too attract emotionally unavailable men. That's what's up. Let me touch on that before I start running my mouth. G-Dub says she too attracts emotionally unavailable men. I'm going to have that conversation about emotional unavailability. We're going to talk about that. I'm wondering if we are, the more in touch with each other that we are, maybe it's an Atlanta thing then, the more emotionally in touch with, excuse me, let me slow down a little bit. The more connected to each other we are, via social media. Hell, look at us right here. I'm talking to people, all over. The other day we had someone calling from London. Now, people here in Atlanta and people from different parts. I think Cheryl's in Texas. You have people all over the place, right? So it's like, even though we are connected, as it were, it's that much more difficult for us to be emotionally available to connect on different levels. So that is something I really do want to talk about, emotional availability. What does it take to be emotional availability? And I believe that a lot of that ties in with vulnerability too. It's one thing, the older you get, the harder it is to trust. Because once you've been hurt so many times, once you've been through so many different relationships, once you've been through, just the nonsense that is life, and then, it's difficult to trust. It's difficult to open yourself up, that vulnerability, in order to really and truly be open. And that's what relationships are about, Oh, okay. Nice. I'm learning something about the UI. Let's see. All right. Man, speaking of working out, I gotta work out tomorrow. Let's see. Cheryl, she says, I attract men who are emotionally available. However, they are complacent. Woo! Woo! So it sounds like they're unavailable for the challenge. That's interesting. That is interesting. Okay. Y'all, we're getting ready to wrap it up. But before we do, couple of things. Next week, the show, even though we normally do them on Tuesdays, next week is going to be on Thursday. The reason why we're going to be doing it on Thursday of next week is because that's 6-9. And the next week, we're going to be talking about Get the Booty. Okay? Now, what that means is we ain't necessarily talking about getting the booty as in, getting the booty. No. Yeah. No. For us dudes, yeah, we want the booty. We are attracted to the physical. But what does it take to get the booty? What does it take to get that treasure? Well, that means as a man, there's certain things you have to do, because most women are attracted to men that can provide certain things. So if you're not able to provide that treasure, aka the booty, then you're not going to get the booty. And at the same time, ladies, you know that if men are physical creatures, we like what we like and we like what we see, then I tell you what, you might want to be likable. Just like Elsie was just talking about, hit the gym, working your diet, whatever the case may be. Even if you got to go get a bubble, that BBL, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a fan of them as well, but hey, if it works, it works. Whatever the case may be. But we're going to talk about that next week. Getting the booty. Also, y'all, your boy has written a few books. Your boy has written a few books. So, if you haven't already done so, please purchase my first 2 books, Desperately Seeking Exclusivity and Desperately Seeking Pleasure. So if you haven't gotten those books, y'all, please pick up your copy today. And I also have 2 other books as well. Oh, excuse me, the next book that I have been working on. In fact, even this weekend I was working on it. This book right here. Just got to finish the last. I got 2 chapters I got to edit, and I'll be done. Desperately Seeking Clarity. This book is coming soon. So if you haven't already done so, like I said, the links are in the bio section or the description section below. Desperately Seeking Exclusivity and Desperately Seeking Pleasure, both of which are available on Amazon. And book number 3, Desperately Seeking Clarity. Y'all, it's coming. I cannot wait. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all so much for tuning into this conversation. Thank you for this, for just joining me tonight. Like I said, y'all, this is my therapy. I just enjoy talking and having these conversations. So, again, if you have not done so, please be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and as always, y'all have a good week. See y'all next week. Y'all stay determined.